in the understanding of, if I'm to say the Trinity, we got two persons, right, of the Godhead, if I'm to put it that way, that right now have two functions, that has the authority of one function that both of them can execute. But the Father has given all things for the Son to do it. But that doesn't mean that he can't or he doesn't possess it. It's just that he give it now to the Son to perform that function. And that was by design. It's not by haphazardly. It was designed that way, and that was the way in which Christ accepted it also. So if it is, let's put it this way, and this is what I tell people, and I'll finish off by saying this. If it is that he was sent, Christ accepts it. Doesn't somebody have to first, let's just say he was just sent, as some people make the statement, and he doesn't do anything by himself. But doesn't Christ have to first accept the position and the responsibility before he actually comes and execute? So in one way, we paint Christ as just doing whatever the Father tells him. But I'm like, okay, well then how does he first get here if he didn't agree to it? It's not like if the Father forced him and say, hey, you gotta, like, or how we can force our children and say, no, I say so, you gotta go do it. No, I don't think it happened that way. That's just my understanding. But anyhow, I don't want to preach. I don't like to preach. I hope you guys get a
I was just going to say, because remember, I think, is it the one, I can't remember which one it says. Yeah, where he said he learned humility, because it was Paul who said it, because it's what Paul's implying.
You mean in Luke, where it says that he grew in favor?
No,
another one?
No, I think it's like Hebrews 5 or something.
Yeah, probably. And so what it is, the fact he had to learn it shows that he was an adult, sort of, like Adam was, and it's only when he came in as a human that he had to do all the human.
When you say learn, I don't know. Pull the text where you're trying to. At least I'll understand the argument, or at least I'll understand what you're trying to tell me. Not the argument, but what you're trying to infer. Hebrews chapter 5.
You can try that one, but it's
Right.
actually, I think it is actually. That's more it talks about when you die, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So it's Hebrews 5, 8, 9. Although he was a son, he learned obedience through what he suffered. And once made perfect, so he was made perfect, he became the source of eternal salvation for all who obey him. Hebrews 5, 8 through 9.
Yeah, so all I was saying is just that you were saying about how he had to agree, but also it was a training mission, you could say, as well, from the Father.
Well, the text doesn't say that, right?
We said learned. That's training, isn't it?
Well, as I said, listen, you give me 1 sec. Let me pull up the Greek for it. I think I've seen this before, but I just can't remember what's the argument behind it. Because I've heard the one with him, the wording in Matthew when it talks about him growing in wisdom and such and faith. Yeah, something like that. So Hebrews chapter 5.
I think it's Luke, actually, because that's the one where...
Forgive me if I can't remember which one it is. Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I'll take whichever one. I just can't remember. I just pulling it out. Which verse you said was... though he learned verse 8. Yeah. Though being a son, he learned from the things he suffered obedience, and having been perfected, he became to all those obeying him author of salvation eternal. That's how it's read in the Greek there. So what is you trying to say, that Christ didn't know something?
No, you said that he had to agree.
Well, I'm just saying that the agreement was before, right? That I'm just pointing out the fact. I'm just pointing out the fact that when people say, and the Unitarians and the Muslims say that he said, I do nothing of myself, which is in John chapter 5, and they make that inference as though, well, he says, I do nothing except the Father, and I do whatever the Father does. They infer it to mean it in such a way, well, he's kind of on autopilot then, that he didn't have a say. And I'm saying, well, if he was sent, right, I'm saying, well, if someone is sending you somewhere, you have to agree to go, right? I'm just being logical with the text. That's my point.
Yeah. You're just saying that he didn't come like a robot, essentially. He wasn't programmed.
Yeah, and right. But in terms of him being knowledgeable, that's like some Unitarians make the argument for it, but it doesn't really. There's no. I know they use the what was the famous one that they used, that he doesn't know the day nor the hour. Like that.
The hour.
Yeah, those are arguments that have been refuted and exegeted too many times. Even this is similar to that same thing about when he says he's learned, but I don't think that's the context of it, right? I could go back in the context of it.
No, but it tells you what he learned, though. That's the thing.
That he learned what? What it is that he learned?
No, it's in the verse. You haven't got the verse in front.
No, it's your verse. Well, you bring it up, so I'm asking.
No, it says he learned from the things he suffered.
So he learned. Okay, what did he learn?
To learn. Yeah?
Right. What did he learn?
From the things that he suffered. Well, it says obedience, isn't it?
That's okay. So, what do you think the text is saying?
No, so he learned.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, the fact that he learns that means this is what the Father wanted him to. He wanted him to learn this.
But the text doesn't say that, right?
Yeah, but we're using logic here.
But when I use logic, you're telling me I gotta stick with the text. When I stick to the text, then you tell me you're gonna use logic. So which one you gotta use?
No, well, if someone learns obedience, well, what does that mean?
Wait, what you said?
What does learned obedience mean?
Right. It says, though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. You think that he is learning obedience or he is being obedient?
No, what does the text say?
I just read it, what it says.
Yeah.
And I said exactly what it says. It says, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered, and being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey.
You're going to begin to hear some strange things when you look it up in your scripture. If it's not matching with scripture, it's from the devil. Brothers and sisters, it's from the devil. Don't pay heed.